cocky fighters getting destroyed. Everyone likes to enjoy a win every now and then, but it's the ones you can savor that give you that much more of a satisfactory feeling of accomplishment when you get to truly hand it to someone that definitely deserved to get knocked out. Hey there everyone, and welcome back to Brutal TV. If you're new here, go ahead and prepare a karate chop to that subscribe button to stay up to date on all things fighting, all the carnage, and all the brutal TV you can get. Today, we are taking you to the ring to see some cocky fighters get destroyed. Number 1. We believe that this guy took the saying, "Be like water, my friend," to a whole new level. During this fight, you can see this opponent moving his body in a somewhat strange way. It's so bizarre that the opponent even looks at the ref in confusion as he wonders what to make of it. These types of moments are why we love bringing you videos. Because one of the most satisfying moments of this fight is right when the prancing, dancing fighter drops his oddly guarded hands. He gets rocked and sent into Never Never Land. Bedtime and lights out. So very satisfying. Number 2. If you can take a punch, that's great and good for you. If you can dodge a jab, that's also great. Here you can see some pretty good skills from this fighter. He shows some nice resistance and agility in the ring. But it's the fact that his taunting goes on and on and on. But it's not what he was able to do in the moments of the fight. It was about what he failed to pay closer attention to. The opponent was much more determined and focused on finishing this fight, and that he did. One right to the noggin switched day into night for this guy as he falls down and struggles to even gain his footing. Less taunt, more fight. Number 3. Cheap shots are never a good way to start a match. This guy here delivers a small but cheap shot right before the fight as he fills himself up with false hopes. We can be happy to inform you that this ends exactly how you would like it to. Not long into the fight, you see the fighter in red and white get stunned from a jab right to the face. Later on in the fight, it was as he was improving on his guarding technique. Unfortunately, it involved him mixing it up. The poor fellow became so dazed that he started using his face as a guard. Number 4. If you're going to hold your hands and arms wide open for your opponent to strike you, don't be upset when they actually strike you. Over and over and over. Here you see Mr. Cocky in the ring acting as though nothing can touch him, when in fact, everything touched him. The right jab, the kicks, and then it was all thanks to his open and welcoming arms that this fighter decided to knock not once, but twice, right there in his face. This guy goes down to the ground multiple times and eventually ends up being pummeled until the ref jumps in to call it quits. We're pretty sure this guy will stop sending invites out so willy-nilly. Number 5. What do we have here? Another fighter who embodies not using his hands as the guard, but decides to use his... Oh, that was quick. What lesson can be learned from this, kids? Rolling with the punches does not mean put your face into the punch. Say it with me. Hands up, chin up. Chin down leads to frowns. Yes, that's good. Class dismissed. Number 6. Class is back in session because this guy totally did not take notes from our last assignment. Backed against the rope, the fighter in the black just keeps taunting his opponent as though he is the one dishing out the blows. It's one thing to taunt while you are dominating a match. It's a whole other story when you tell the person that's beating you into a pulp to continue to do it even further. And that's exactly what this fighter asked for. And when we say that the fighter in red delivered this package like it was one-day shipping and free returns, we mean it. His opponent delivers a right jab and then a left that sends this guy straight through the ropes that he was clinging to for dear life. This man was knocked completely out of the ropes. Dazed and confused, we're pretty sure he is rethinking his life right now. Number 7. It's hard to tell here, but if you really look closely, you can see the soul leave his body just ever so gracefully on his descent. The fighter in black believes he has the upper hand and that his opponent is slipping up. That wasn't the case in this situation, but is it ever really? He soon finds himself at the end of a left hook that snatches his soul from his body and sends him straight to the ground. He was so perplexed that even his legs got crossed and mixed up as to where to go. His stunned body laid there probably wondering, where did that come from? Number 8. Showing off and flexing before the match is a big giveaway that this fight is going to be quite interesting. Also, it acts as a preview to how this fighter is going to behave during the match. But this behavior we could not have seen coming. During his warm-ups before the match, you see these impressive splits and some rather interesting body movements. You even see him playing around with the ref. Not always a wise choice. But this guy made no wise choices on this day, because on this day, this guy woke up and chose death. And his request was fulfilled. He taunts his opponent with no guard up or anything. He tells the fighter to give one straight to his face, and it was delivered on time. He goes straight down like a log. Ouch! 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 Number 9. Finally a fight that we can get into. These two fight it out up close and personal and strike each other with force, looking to best their opponent. Hand-to-hand boxing done right. But then, just when everything was going as planned, this guy does a little dancey dance and gets KO'd soon after. Down goes another one. It's one thing to celebrate a victory, but should someone remind him that you actually have to win to celebrate? Number 10. Look at this guy try to dominate the matchup conference. During these events, it's normal to see the opponents be placed close to each other in order to show the in-person comparison and allow for that first face-to-face. To look your opponent in the eye, to show who will dominate. This guy on the left just seems to have a much larger chip on his shoulder than normal, pushing the other fighter's arm out of the way while he flexes. His opponent pushes him back, but then saves the rest for later. And when we tell you he put it away in a Ziploc bag and kept it fresh, we mean it. During the fight, you can see the two going hand-to-hand, toe-to-toe. One of the best parts about this is that you can see the opponent be very strategic in his stance, and right when there is that opening, he delivers a strike right to the face, and the cocky fighter almost falls completely out of the ring. Dazed and confused, his mind and body were totally at a disconnect. Number 11. This guy talks the talk and walks the walk.
I'm gonna crack your ribs, I'm gonna crack your jaw, I'm gonna send you home packing, and you will retire.
Unfortunately, he does not stand the plan. During a cocky matchup speech, he goes on to talk about his opponent and how his opponent only talks a lot of big talk, but has nothing to deliver on, calling him a fraud and a person who just can't back up their weight in punches. His opponent just sits and listens and bides his time. As we observe the match, you see the big guy getting hammered. If you look closely, you could almost see the hope leave his eyes as he goes down not once, not twice, but multiple times. And the final time that he goes down, his legs give way as a blow right to his head renders him speechless. Quite the irony. Number 12. If you're going to intimidate someone by pushing your forehead into them, make sure you do not implement this guy's follow-up plan, because he delivered the proposal, but his execution was complete trash. Minutes into the fight, you see the cocky fighter getting pummeled, just pulverized, getting kneed in the waist, punched in the face, and thrown all over the place. This guy just stood no chance. We guess that's why he overcompensated in his initial introduction. This is what happens when you bite off way more than you can chew. You end up eating fists for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The fight ends with the overcompensating cocky fighter tapping out after being held in submission. Ah, the pure delight of defeat. We know that these really hit the spot. And if you enjoyed this as much as we did, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this with a cocky friend of your own to remind them of what could happen. And be sure to subscribe for more. Thanks for watching. See you next time.